Gunland, folks. I'm Chris Dorr. I'm the director here at North Carolina Firearms Coalition, and I wanted to shoot this short live video so that you guys can see some of the RINO degenerates that we're up against in this fight to pass permitless carry, to make North Carolina the 30th state to pass some version of permitless carry, which is right now it's Senate Bill 50 in the North Carolina General Assembly. Real quick. Senate Bill 50 is permitless carry. It gets rid of the mandate to go beg the government for permission to exercise your right to carry a handgun for self-defense. 29 other states have already done this. There's been no problems in those other 29 states that have done this. And quite frankly, in some states where they've measured it, like Ohio, for example, the Attorney General came out and said that violent crime has plummeted ever since they got rid of that mandatory license and some of the training to go along with it. So, folks, this bill has already passed the General Assembly, passed the Senate first, it passed the House, and then it went to gun-grabbing Democrat communist Governor Josh Stein, and he, of course, vetoed the bill. The General Assembly has already had one veto override session. I'm very happy to report to you that the North Carolina Senate, of course, it's a Senate bill, so we went back to the Senate first. The Senate immediately passed it in override and sent it over to the House. Now, this was a week or so ago when we had this, and there wasn't enough votes for the House to override the governor, so they didn't call the bill up. But I wanted to highlight one of the people that is holding this up so that you guys know that it's not always the Democrats that are blocking our gun rights, that are attacking our gun rights. It's sometimes the Republicans. And in this case, it's this guy right now. No, I'm not talking about the one on the right. I'm talking about the one on the left there. This is Representative Ted Davis Jr., who I'm sure his father, if still alive, is rolling over in his grave about what a shameful person his son has become. Ted Davis Jr. is one of two Republicans that voted against this bill when it was on the House floor the first time around before it got vetoed. And now we're past that. We're to the point now where we're no longer voting on the policy. We're voting on the politics of the situation. The question is, are Republicans in the House going to give a great big fat win to Josh Stein and the Democrats, or are they going to go to bat for the gun voters that routinely go to the polls each and every election cycle and pull that trigger, politically speaking, for the humor impaired, for the Republicans who have overwhelming majorities in both the House and the Senate? Obviously, a veto-proof majority in the Senate side. We're one vote short of a veto-proof override on the House side. But this guy, Ted Davis, you're looking at him right there with Tom Tillis, who is arguably one of the worst RINOs in Congress. He voted for Joe Biden's bipartisan Safer Communities Gun Control Act. These are two peas in a pod right here, both never Trump RINOs. And Ted Davis is now saying he's not going to support the Republican caucus anymore. He's going to back Josh Stein's veto on pretty much the biggest gun rights bill that's ever come before the North Carolina General Assembly. I want you guys to remember his face, Ted Davis Jr., but I want you to not just look at him and realize who he is. I want you to also call his office and demand that he stop doing the dirty work for Josh Stein and vote yes on a veto override. I want you guys to see this. This is what he wrote the other day. Look at this. Check this little comment out. This is him. This is that guy. He said, "On behalf of my many true constituents, which live in House District 20," and just so you guys know where we're talking about here, we're talking right on the north side of Wilmington. I did a lot of hurricane recovery stuff. I think that would be Topsail. Part of Topsail Island maybe included in that. I'm not sure exactly where the line is, but this is where we're talking about. This is a very rural area out there. He said, on behalf of my many true constituents that live in House District 20, which oppose Senate Bill 50, I hope that my stance against allowing 18-year-olds to concealed carry without any proper firearm training, criminal background check, or mental illness check will be remembered. Now, honestly, I'm going to change the way this looks here just a second. Flip that around. there is a lot going on in this comment that he put here, as you guys can see. Let's talk about it from from his first critique. I hope that my stance against allowing 18-year-olds. Just listen to the way he's talking there. This guy, Ted Davis Jr., truly believes that he has a right to regulate your Second Amendment freedoms. He has zero belief that the Second Amendment is a restriction on government. Which is a great big fat problem. This guy swore to uphold the Constitution, and yet he doesn't even understand the basics of the Constitution. The Second Amendment is a restriction on government. Our founding fathers knew very much that tyrannical governments that disarm their people are capable of genocide. All we have to do is look back at the 20th century. Governments murdered at least a bare minimum of 45 million innocent citizens worldwide. Yet this guy, Ted Davis Jr., believes that it's his right to decide to regulate this God-given right of self-defense. So I hope my stance against allowing 18-year-olds to conceal carry, first, it's not your right to regulate that. You can't allow them. They were given that right by God. But let's talk about that 18 to 20-year-old range that he's talking about. We're talking about people who can get married, pay taxes, have kids, go off to war, die for your country, and then he thinks, well, they just don't have the right to defend themselves without jumping through arbitrary government regulations. That's a damn shame. It's a crime, and it's what's more, that idea that he has there that 18-year-olds, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds somehow all of a sudden become mass shooters is absolutely ludicrous, because 29 other states already have permitless carry. Okay, many of them are going back and downward revising these standards down to 18 to 18 years old now, and there's been zero problems with that. And it turns out that gun owners never needed an all-powerful nanny state government to tell them to go get training anyway. That's a total lying canard that Ted Davis is erecting there. And he damn well knows it too, that he's using that. So allowing 18-year-olds to conceal carry without any proper firearm training, criminal background check, or mental illness. This I want to be clear here. This bill does not change anything about how you go about purchasing or acquiring a firearm. Didn't touch any of that in the bill. But here he is, Ted Davis Jr. Again, it's this guy. I'll pop him up on the screen, standing there next to Tom Tillis. This guy, pardon me, this guy thinks that it's his right to regulate how you go about doing that. Let's get back to that comment here. One last thing I wanted to point out here, without any mental illness check. Folks, the mental illness check as a prerequisite for firearms ownership is something that they only are trying to implement in places like California, New York, Illinois, Washington State. And what he's talking about there is Ted Davis wants access to your social media accounts so that state psychiatrists can go through them and decide whether or not you qualify for the right of human self-defense. Folks, this is the most arrogant and elitist mentality that I have ever seen out of any Republican in a state legislature, and it has to be confronted head on. So I'm going to ask you folks right now, in the description of this video, I have it, but I want to make it very easy for you guys right now. I want you guys to call his legislative office at 919-733-5786. I'm going to hold this up here for you guys to see. Right here, contact, you guys can screenshot this. Let me get rid of that comment real quick. You guys can screenshot this number right there. If you want to take a screenshot on your phone or on your computer right now, screenshot this number and call Ted Davis's number right away and tell him stop being the lead advocate for Joe Biden, what's his too, for Bloomberg's agenda and the Stein agenda in the North Carolina General Assembly, and tell him to vote yes on a veto override. Okay, light his phone up. This is a guy who campaigned every election cycle for years saying that he's pro-gun. And yet now, when we need him the most, Ted Davis is breaking ranks from the entire Republican caucus, joining the gun-grabbing communist Democrats to uphold and backstop Josh Stein's veto here. Okay, this kind of stuff has huge consequences. Honestly, it can affect the majorities. If enough gun owners see that the Republicans aren't able to overcome this veto, a lot of people get disenfranchised with the Republican Party, and they say, what the hell is the point of going to voting for Republicans anymore when they just simply stab me in the back like Ted Davis did? So, guys, again, look at his face. Remember it. That's him right there. Maybe I can make me a little bit smaller here. Let me see if I can blow. There he is. That's Ted Davis. Remember this guy. He is the Benedict Arnold of the Republican caucus in Raleigh, and he is stabbing gun owners in the back at a grander scale than has ever been done before in North Carolina politics, unless you account for this guy he's standing right next to, which is Tom Tillis, who was one of the key backstabbing, betraying con artists who delivered Joe Biden's gun control agenda for him. So these two traitors are birds of a feather, and we need people to be very loud and vocal about this guy right now. There's 3 other Republicans that are waffling on this issue, but I wanted you guys to be aware of Ted Davis and what a cancer he has become in Raleigh to passing anything conservative. So keep him in memory. Make that phone call. Please share this video with all of your friends. And then again, if you live, if you live in House District 20, just remember that's what he said. If you live in his district, you live in any one of these areas right here, north side of Wilmington, and all these man, there's a lot of flooding. I did a lot of hurricane relief stuff during Hurricane Florence a few years back. I think it was 2017. You live in any one of these areas and you're thinking about running for office, now is the time. Now is the time, because this guy, Ted Davis Jr., has totally betrayed every single promise that he's ever made to the constituents in his district. So if you're running for office, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you. And make those phone calls. I'll hold that phone number up one more time. Pardon me, getting over a cold. Let me blow this up just a little bit. 919-733-5786. Call his office right now. Give him a piece of your mind. Don't let him sit there and lecture you. That's what a lot of these politicians like to do when they get you on the phone. They like to sit there and talk to you like they're your boss, like you work for them. It's the other way around. These people are supposed to be working for you. So if you live in his district, call him up, read him the Riot Act, don't apologize for it, and don't let his staff try to be condescending or arrogant back to you. This guy has nothing but shame for his legacy now, and I'm asking you guys to share this video with everybody you know. Make those phone calls, share this video, and again, if you live in his district, please reach out to us if you're thinking about running against him. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you again in the next one.